Hey crew, it's Bit, and I'm back with some more Socrates. Today we're going to be diving back into the works of Plato. We are in Plato's Republic, Book 2. We are picking up in Part 3, and in Part 2 we have determined that God is only responsible for the good things in life. Let me find my glasses real quick, and we will dive back into the text at the second one, right? That was the first point. The first point was that God cannot do bad, or God can only do good. Well, about what about a second one as follows? Second point. Do you think that the God is a beguiler who can contrive to appear in different forms at different times, sometimes actually changing his own form and passing into various shapes, at other times deceiving us and making us believe that this sort of thing is happening to him? Or is the God simple and least likely of all to go away from his own form? I am unable, said he, to give you a direct answer at the moment. What about this? If anything is to depart from its own form, must it not be changed either by itself or by something else? It must. Is it not the case that whatever is in the best condition is least subject to alteration and change by something else? For example, although a body is altered by food, drink, and physical work, and any plant is altered by sunlight, the wind and the other influences of this sort, the one that is healthiest and strongest, is least subject to alteration, is it not? Of course. And would not the bravest and most reflective soul be least troubled and subject to alteration by some external influence? Yes. And presumably, in the case of all manufactured items, too, equipment, buildings, and garments, by the same argument that those are well made and in good condition, are least liable to alteration by the passage of time and any other influences. Yes, this is so. Then anything that is in good condition by nature or by design or both is most resistant to transformation by something else. I'm going to pause here for just a second and address this because it's been a while since I addressed it on my channel, and if you are here just for Plato, this is new. I have a cyst in my throat and it makes it difficult for me to talk. And part of what I'm doing in these channel or these videos on this channel is vocal therapy. So when you hear my voice changing drastically over the course of minutes and seconds, that's me trying to get back down here. I am trying to work my voice back into its more normal tone when I am talking at a distance. And so the high that I'm at right now is not my normal tone. My normal tone is down here. But that's hard for y'all to pick up. So I'm building stamina by talking in the lower range, right? And so I miss that a lot, and it will come back up and down. And I didn't want to confuse too many people. I really don't expect that many people to watch the works of the Plato and the Republic. It's really not like I really don't expect it to be a high view count video series ever, but I'm still doing it for the sake of the posterity of the internet. So, and a lot of it is because of vocal therapy. All right, back to this. Sorry for the break. Normally, I'm trying not to do that, but I wanted to talk about it at least so people who are new here at least know what's going on. And would not the bravest and most reflective soul be least troubled and subject to alteration by some external influence? Yes. So you are least likely to bend or break if you are more strong and brave. And presumably, in the case of all manufactured items too, equipment, buildings, and garments, by the same argument those that are well made and in good condition are least liable to alteration by the passage of time and any other influences. Yes, this is so. Then anything that is in good condition by nature or by design or both is most resistant to the transformation by something else. So it seems. But surely the God and what belongs to the God is in the very best possible condition in every way. Of course. So, in this respect, the God would at least be the God would be least inclined to adopt a lot of shapes. Least indeed. In that case, would he transform or alter himself? Of course, said he, if he is actually altered. So, does he change himself into something better and nobler, or into something worse and more base than himself? If he actually changes, said he, it must be into something worse. For we surely shall not maintain that God is deficient either in nobility or excellence. What you are saying is absolutely correct, said I, and this being the case, do you think, Adeimantus, that anyone, God or man, would willingly make himself worse in any respect? Impossible, said he. So it seems impossible, said I, even for a God to wish to change himself. Rather, being as noble and as excellent as possible to be, each of them always remains eternally in his own shape, purely and simply. Well, that seems absolutely necessary to me. So, best of men, said I, none of the poets should tell us that. Gods in the likeness of strangers assume all sorts of disguises as they visit our cities. Nor speak falsely of Proteus and Thetis, nor introduce Hera in a tragedy, or in any other works, transforming herself into a priestess gathering alms for the life-giving son of Inachos, the river of Argos. And there are many other falsehoods of this sort that they should not tell us. Nor again should mothers, misled by these fellows, terrify their children by telling them bad stories in which some gods actually go about at night, looking like various strangers of all sorts, lest the mothers speak ill of the gods and at the same time make their children more cowardly. No, they should not do that, said he. But it is the case, said I, that although the gods themselves cannot undergo transformation, they make us think that they appear in lots of different guises, thus deceiving and beguiling us. Perhaps, said he. And what about this, said I? Would a god be prepared to practice deception, either in word or in deed, by putting forth an appearance? I do not know, said he. Do you not know, said I, that the true falsehood, if I may use such an expression, is hated by all gods and all humans? How do you mean? As follows, said I. No one is prepared willingly to be deceived in what is presumably the most important part of themselves, about the most important matters. No, we are afraid most of all to have falsehood reside there. I still do not understand, said he. That is because you think I am saying something profound. I am just saying that being deceived in the soul in relation to things that are, and to have been deceived and be ignorant, and hold falsehood there and have it reside there, is what everyone would find least acceptable. And it is in this case that they must detest falsehood. Very much so, said he. Well, then that is what I was saying just now was quite right. This ignorance of the soul of the person who is deceived may be called a true lie. For the falsehood in words is an imitation of the experience of the soul, an image that has arisen subsequently. And so it is not unadulterated falsehood. Is this not so? Entirely so. Then the actual falsehood is hated, not only by the gods, but by humanity too. I think so. But what about the falsehood in words? When and for whom is this useful, so that it does not merit our hatred? Is it not when it is used against enemies, or when some among the people we call friends, through madness or ignorance, are attempting to do some bad deed? And falsehood then becomes useful as a sort of medicine to prevent this. And in the stories we were speaking of just now, because we do not know the truth concerning events of the distant past, do we not make falsehoods resemble the truth as best we can? and render it useful by doing so. Yes, indeed, said he, this is what happens. So then, in which respect would the falsehood be useful to the god? Is it because he does not know about past events, and therefore must make up falsehoods that resemble them? Well, that would be quite ridiculous, said he. In that case, there is nothing of the deceiving poet in a god. I do not think so. Would he make up falsehoods because he is afraid of his enemies? Far from it. Would he do it because of ignorance or madness among those who are close to him? No, no one who is ignorant or mad is beloved of God. So there's no reason for the God to make up falsehoods. There is not. So, divinity and the divine are entirely devoid of falsehood? Entirely so, said he. So the God is absolutely simple and true in word and deed, and he neither changes himself nor deceives others, awake or in a dream, through appearances, words, or signs. Now that you say so, said he, that is how it looks to me too. In that case, do you agree that this is the second guideline by which we should speak and write poems about the gods? They are not enchanters who have transformed themselves, nor do they lead us astray with falsehoods through their words or their actions. I agree. So, although we praise a great deal that is in Homer, we shall not praise the part where Zeus sends the dream to Agamemnon. Nor shall we praise Asilicus when he has Thetis say that Apollo sang at her wedding to celebrate her godly race of children. Their days prolonged from pain and sickness free, and rounding out the tale of heaven's blessings. Raised the proud paean, making glad my heart, and I believed that Phoebus' mouth divine, filled with the breath of prophecy, could not lie. But he himself, the singer, himself who sat at meat with us, himself who promised all, is now the slayer of my son. Whenever someone says anything like this about the gods, we shall be angry with him and refuse to grant a chorus. Nor shall we allow teachers to make use of this for the education of the young folk. If our guardian is going to be as God-revering and divine as it is possible for a human being to be. I agree entirely with those guidelines, said he, and I would use them as laws. So, I was not expecting this to be the end. I didn't read all the way through this, right? I'm reading this as we go along, and we are exploring this as we go along, and I was really expecting a considerable amount more. Let's transition this over. I was looking at the little tab on the side that shows how far down the page you are, and we're only halfway down the page right now. And so, when I broke it up yesterday, I was fully expecting to be looking at another 2 hours of reading. So, we're going to have a short one today. This is going to be a short PittCast, and it just will be what it is. Maybe I'll start on the next one, or maybe I'll do something for tomorrow or something. But regardless, we have finished book 2. We will be getting into book 3. That will be next, and I don't want to add it onto this. I want it to be its own separate video, and I guess I need to go through and make sure that I don't do this again. Y'all make sure y'all get back to the dialogues page and show some love. And if you like what I am doing here, let me know down below. I am going to continue doing it until we are done with it, but it would be nice to get some encouragement along the way. I would like to know what you would like, how I could improve what I am doing here. So if you have specific things that you would like to see done better here, for sure let me know. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. I didn't have a whole lot to say. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about, right? They're just saying that God can't be bad, and therefore God can't be a liar. And I'm sure that's some proof of other things than what we know about the gods being broken apart there is true there. That is what's happening here, right? That's the breakdown here. Is God, Socrates is breaking apart the common knowledge of the gods through this part of it. At least this part of the Republic. He is changing what is known about the gods, and that's admirable to say the least. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry it's a short one. I was really expecting this to be a lot longer. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you were here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt's Take. Peace.